What's up, everybody? Welcome to another YouTube video. Today I'm going to break down how I made $1,400 day trading options, my thought process behind it, and also I'm going to go a little bit over what I'm going to be planning to play tomorrow. So what my watch list is going to be, what do I want to happen in order for me to get in, calls, puts, all of that. So right now I am working on a course, an online course, where I'm going to break down all of these in extreme detail. I go over technical analysis, I go over money management, psychology, literally everything. Basically, if you want to stay notified and get updated when that course comes out, for the first 100 people, they're gonna get 50% off. It's gonna be like $500 or something for everything, right? And normal price is gonna be $800 after 100 seats get taken. So if you want to stay updated on that, I'm including in the link in the description where you can put your email in and you'll get notified. Add yourself to the email list and you'll be notified of everything. All right, 8 seconds to 218, and then I got out 2 minutes later for about $275 profit. All right, so this was one of the quicker trades. Now let's look at why I played that. All right, 217. Now if I go here, look at the 5 minutes. If I look at the 5-minute chart right here for Amazon, what we're going to see is that it pushed up about 20 bucks, kind of consolidated here, and I had two levels mainly that I was watching, 3400 and 3396, and then more importantly here, 86. It bounced off of it here in the 12:20 at midday, and then let's look even at the 1 minute so I can see exactly why I got in. So when the Fed came out and then had that, I don't know what they said about the hike, the interest rates or whatever it was, Amazon dropped 26 points right away in like 1 or 2 minutes. And then it retraced and then rejected this level here, 3,400. Couldn't get back above it. Now I entered at 217 as it's about to close. So I entered on this candle and literally got out 2 minutes later. Right, so a couple of reasons for this was that it rejected this 86 level, and then another reason is that it rejected the moving average, right? So that made me get a put right here, and then I exited here because as it looked to bounce off of the previous support on the 1 minute here. I could have easily said, oh, let me wait until it hits this next level, but I noticed that buyers stepped in here, so no reason to hold on to it and sacrifice that, right? As you can see here, if I held, I would have held a loss, and I would have had to hold on and then let theta burn and potentially make my money back as it dumped here. So that's why you always want to lock in profit when you see it, especially when you're day trading same-week expiration contracts, right? So that's pretty much a sneak peek into a couple of things that I like to look at in terms of moving averages, critical levels. Now the idea is, what am I going to look to play tomorrow? So I got a nice scan that I created. I call it Loy and Hoy, right? I could explain that in another video. But for now, let's see what we got here. Let's go to the 3-month daily so I can look at it a little bit more closely. Snapchat sold off. Ooh. Walmart had a pretty nice dump here, and most of it happened around 2 o'clock. Yep, when it came out with that news about the interest rate. So what I want to find out here is what stock looks like it's about to make a big move, right? Facebook here, for example, is very interesting. One reason is because of it tried to break out of this range, formed a doji, right, and then pulled lower. Now if you look at the hourly, we're going to see here that it broke this trend line here connecting higher lows. Now I call this ST, supporting trend line, and then when I see something like this is called an RT, resistance trend line, right? So if you had this, then the break of it here can be a potential, you know, bullish play. And then here, this other trend line could be a bearish play, you know, as it's breaking it. Now I just gotta wait and see. So Facebook looks like I have all of my levels here. I don't have to redo any levels. What I'd look to play for Facebook, if it goes under 328, it can easily retest 326. So that could be a quick scalp, right? I'm already swinging, I think, one put, but I wouldn't size up until it hits 328 at least, right? So under 328.50, I could try to catch it for $2 here. Let's see what else. Home Depot looks really weak here. I want to find something interesting. All right, so let's go over the fast mover. So if I want to look for a fast mover, one thing I'll do is just look at something with a high ATR. Right, ATR just means how many dollars it moves on average. So if you look at it here, you'll see Roku's kind of squeezing. It's made a couple of aggressive moves recently, but it's still technically in this range here. I guess now we can redo these trend lines a little bit. Something like that. So now it could potentially stay in this range. Let's see the HOI high of yesterday. You got Amazon. Strong close for Amazon. Very strong close. However, you do have this 34. This is interesting right here. Very, very interesting. You got a 34.32, 34.36 zone that I could potentially test. Now, what I'm going to look for here tomorrow as a potential play, since Amazon is up so much right now, there's a potential for maybe small pullback, right? So how I'm going to try to, that small pullback might have been over already this morning when it did this $50 drop midday. But just in case, if the market continues to crash, I'll look to play the rejection of this zone right here. If you look at it on the daily, that is the next level. If it breaks 34.35, if Amazon breaks this zone right here, 34.36, what's going to happen is the next area that it could test is going to be 34.58 zone to 34.62. Now, when I have two levels close to each other, I like to create a zone using the rectangle feature, and then I'll extend it like that. So now if you go to the daily, it'll show up nice right here. Those are the two levels that I just drew. Now, a lot of times people are like, oh, I'm gonna be scalping. Why am I drawing levels from here? Because this is what bigger institutions, big money had a say in. So it most likely is going to play a factor now, especially since in this area there was a lot of volume. So you want to make sure that you are aware of these levels. Okay, so that's one zone. Next zone could potentially be this close, the next level. And then here you got another zone, the high of this, and then the high of that. So I'll do another rectangle right there. And then extend it like that. And then you got this high, and then you got this close, and then boom. Now all the levels are ready. Now it might look a little bit hectic on the daily, but since I'm scalping Amazon, I'm not going to be really watching the daily chart as much as I'm entering and exiting. I'm mainly going to be looking at the 5 minute and the 1 minute. So here my plan on Amazon can potentially be a bounce off 3400. It could be the break of 3400, catch it to 86 again, or over 36 can potentially be the play, right? Yeah, it possibly will move $20 and you can catch that, but at the end of the day, that's not the highest probability. What I want to do, I wanted to see it get out this range, right? Otherwise, it could just keep chopping, and I don't want to stay in sideways action, right? Nvidia is also a good one. This is where I made most of my money today, catching this little drop. No, I wish I caught this one. I caught it earlier in the day where I sold at 12.18, so I caught this push down here. It's crazy how just less than 0.5% of the stock move can get you like a 10% return on an option play. So I had about 6 or 7K. That's why I made about 700, and then another 300 after. But you could also lose that much, right? All right, let's see Tesla. Tesla's been below average volume, kind of moving sideways, hanging out under its 200 SMA and 20 EMA. This is a little bit irrelevant now, so we can maybe take something like that. The top one's still good, so it can possibly just stay sideways here. Tesla, there's no really high probability play until it breaks out of that range. What else? Okay, so under 712, again, Nvidia could retest 706, and I think it could even go sub 700 if the market decides to push lower. There was a huge scare today in the market with the interest rate hike, as you can see with the ETFs. Dow Jones down 1%, so is the Nasdaq, and so is the SPY. If you look at it on the hourly, when in doubt, zoom out. Remember that. If you look out on the hourly, had a pretty scary fall here, and if you look at the volume, it's the highest volume in the last 15 days. Okay, and if you look at the moving average, you're going to see here that it was acting as support this entire time. Here, it's potentially going to act as resistance, so we might see a lower leg down. So under 422.74 on SPY, I'm bearish. If it starts to go over here, 423s, it's back in that chop, right? 4 or 5 day chop. For Qs, same thing. It acted as support these two lines right, moving averages, acted as support the entire time. Now, because of this strong 1.5% move down, it recovered, yes. However, it's still under that. So let's see what happens from here. And also sold off on very high volume. So right now, at where it lies right now, I'm bearish. However, all it takes is for Qs to just go right here to 342.3 for me to be neutral again, right? And that's not far off. So that's what I'm looking at in terms of the overall market. Let's see here if there's anything else that's interesting. Shopify is looking strong here, but I hate Shopify spreads. TTD is gonna split tomorrow, so instead of being $5.90 a share, it's gonna be $59 a share. Interesting. So that's pretty much it. Make sure that before tomorrow starts, before 9:30 comes, make sure you have a couple of stocks on watch. If you're going to be day trading, make sure you have a couple of stocks on watch that you know what you're going to do and when. That's the most important. When would you get calls? When would you get puts? What would be your max loss? You got to know how many contracts you're going to be getting depending on your risk, so on and so forth. But if you have something like this up, right, you're not gonna catch anything. But if you have something like this, now it makes more sense, because now you only have like 3 to 4 stocks. Now in your head, it's clear. You have select targets, so you have a higher chance of hitting those targets when they are few. But if you're watching 30 things at one time, it's gonna be very hard to scalp and day trade. Yeah, add yourself to the email list and you'll be notified of everything. All right. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to let me know. Remember to share, like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And keep me updated if you need anything. Peace.